Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the TED Show. One of my favorite organizations is represented on the show today. We have Mary Alice Fish, Habitat Orlando, and Osceola. We're going to talk about the Women's Build. There is an amazing event coming up. And then I want to educate you all on what Habitat does, because I think a lot of people don't realize it. They've asked a bunch of questions, Mary Alice, before we went live. And so they want to know and they want to be educated and informed. So welcome. I'm excited to have you on the show today.
Thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. We love to tell our story. We're doing great things here in Central Florida, have been for 35 years. We have a lot of great partners, and Women Build is just one great example of how we pull the community together to do great things.
I agree. And I've always been such a proponent of Habitat overall. And I think the work that you all do and the involvement in the community and the get out there and physically get involved is just a beautiful thing. Before we go into that, though, I told you that the audience loves an origin story. So they want to know all about how Mary Alice Fish got from point A to her journey now, which is with Habitat.
Well, it's sort of a second career for me. I really started in sales and marketing in the horticultural field, which everyone always finds really that's quite a difference. But I was always interested in working with people for some cause, and whether it was teaching people how to grow something in their garden and being successful, which was very satisfying, or now helping people learn how they can help with the issue of affordable housing. So I spent, 25 years doing sales and marketing. And then I thought, I was doing a lot of volunteering for a lot of great organizations. And I thought, I might be interested in a change. And the nonprofit world really called to me. And I was fortunate enough to transition into a couple of different positions prior to Habitat, but it gave me a great experience. And housing has always been my cause. Whether it's the arts or the animals. For me, I've always felt fortunate to not have to worry about where I was going to lay my head. Yet several of the organizations I worked with, that was a big cause. It was either homelessness or at-risk youth or something in that genre. And I thought, when Habitat position opened up, I thought that is something I'd be interested in. And I've been here 6 years, and I must say, it's sort of a dream job. I'm really lucky. It's a great organization.
The way you talk about it, you have a passion for it, which is beautiful. That's palpable. And I love to have anyone who's in a position like yours to feel that, because there are some times when we have people come on and I'm like, oh, it's time for you to check out. Because that industry, my master's degree is in nonprofits. And so that industry as a whole has a very high burnout level. It is a lot of work and a lot of, you're not going to be a millionaire doing what you do. So you have to have a passion for it. And it can be very challenging during lean times, during crises. It's a lot what you do. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
So let's talk about Habitat in general. I'm familiar, but tell people who hear about it, they know about Habitat, and they go, that sounds great, but they really have no idea about the nitty-gritty of what you all do and what your mission is.
Yeah, it's very true, Ted. Thanks for the opportunity. One of the biggest misnomers is that Habitat gives away homes, and that could not be further from the truth. So we love to, right off the bat, tell people that our homeowners, our clients buy their homes. They must be approved. They must apply. They must have a need. And today the need is great. We know that, the rising cost of rental property is putting so many people at jeopardy. And definitely the cost of buying a home is out of reach for most. So what we find is that people will apply. And there is a rigorous vetting, and credit is the big thing. Can they pay a mortgage? Because they will have to pay a mortgage. Where's their credit in this journey? And do they have a need? So if they meet those qualifications and are able to do their 75 hours of sweat equity is kind of famous at Habitat. Everybody knows
it is.
You gotta put some time in for that house. So if the person is able to do all of that, they are accepted into the program. And then about 6 months later, 6 to 9 months, they will close on a house and they will own it. And the thing that makes us unique is that the mortgage is affordable, because no matter what the person makes, the mortgage will only be 30% of their gross income.
Wow.
And that's the affordable piece.
Yes.
So that people know what it's going to be. That's a recommended by many financial experts of what you should be paying for your living expenses. And that includes taxes and homeowners insurance. So it's a great way to own a home, stabilize your life in an affordable way. So we're thrilled to be able to partner with these families.
It must be a challenge. You brought it up. Affordable housing, the rents in Orlando and Central Florida it's just crazy. I don't know how people afford that. And so that is why we have an increase in homelessness. We have an increase in people living in their cars. We have a lot of greed and not picking on the landlords, but the apartment complexes. They have a waiting list, and yet there are people who just literally can't afford to get in. So having some means of affordable housing that is permanent and that has a structure to almost like we were talking about New York, rent, you can't go above a certain amount. I love that. I think it's so critical. Are you finding that since COVID, your numbers have skyrocketed? Do you have a waiting list that is a mile long? What is your scenario there?
We never stopped building during COVID because we had a lot of people in the pipeline. We always have a pipeline. So we had a lot of people in the pipeline that were like, oh, I know about COVID, but I need my house, let's keep going. But at the same time, we did have an issue with new homeowners because a lot of people were furloughed. Yes. And in order to be approved for a mortgage, you have to have an income. Yes. So we saw that, and that was for people that were on the road, but they could not, it was out of their control. So there was a little gap in people's ability to actually apply and stay in the program. But now that everyone's back to work, we've seen just a resurgence. We've actually increased our build schedule to keep up with the demand. Yeah, it's there is no end to the need, and there's a lot of qualified people out there because really, there's a whole segment of the population you don't think about. We have nurses, CNAs, we have postmen, we have people that you would think, teachers that with this skyrocketing cost of homes in Orlando, this $350, $425 puts a lot of people out of reach. So our communities, and we are in fact building single family home communities right now. We're building 58 home community in Silver Pines, right off of Pine Hills Road. Beautiful. These communities allow for people, middle class people who, are making, what our fathers were, what our neighbors were, 25 years ago to buy a house now. It's crazy.
It's an epidemic. I mean, the challenge with affordable housing knows no bounds. And I think with the furlough, which you brought up, so many people were out of work, so you can't really do much there. It's been an interesting couple of years, but the problem was already there. It just I feel like has been exacerbated by the increased costs, the supply and demand issues, the products that we need in order to build the homes and the cost there.
Absolutely, the rising cost of wood.
Yeah, you all have faced, and I think people see it on the news, but we're also desensitized to it because we all went through the toilet paper issue. So lumber is not really on our brains, but we get it. But I think that people don't realize that it really does have this long-term huge impact on what we're trying to get people to live in a house that is manageable and affordable for them.
Right. So one of the things about Habitat is we are a builder. We are a three-prong organization. We're social services, we're a builder, and we're a nonprofit, right? So we build 30 houses a year, up to 30 houses a year. And when our costs go up, we can't pass them on to our customer, because that agreement that we have, that the cost of their mortgage will only be 30% of their gross, that stays in place regardless of what the house is appraised at, but then regardless of what the houses cost us to build. So as these increases, these 20-30% increases in goods and services, we absorb that. And this is why we depend on our community to support us, because those costs come out of the Habitat budget. So we're always very thankful for people who support us monetarily. It's an important part of what we do.
Critical. It's critical.
Absolutely critical.
Tell me about and big shout out to Wendy Cohen too.
Yes, absolutely.
Because she brought you to me, or she brought us together, and so big shout out to her. She's got an amazing heart, such a servant leadership heart. Tell me about Women Build, because that's your event. If I'm not mistaken, it's this weekend or coming up very soon. Tell us about it.
It's a fun event. So this year we actually rolled Women Build out for the whole month of March, because it's Women's History Month, it's International Women's Day, it's Women in Construction Week. So it's a big month for women. So we used to have a week worth of build days, but we decided, because people were antsy to get back out and volunteer, we'd actually take the whole month of March and deem it Women Build Month. So we've had a couple of groups out already. Wendy's group is coming out, Female Force, and first international title will be out. So on Saturday. So we're thrilled. And it is a fundraising event. So everybody raises some money to come out and build. And it's a great way to bring women together, to show their power, to help change and impact the community in which we live. It's been going on in habitats throughout the country for over 20 years. We've been participating for well over 10, and we're thrilled with the turnout this year. So, it's a sold out event. We'd love people to, if you're interested, message me. I'd love to get you on the waiting list for next year. But it's really a lot of fun, because it is very female centric. And we do everything and more, actually, because our construction crew is really so super supportive. So they're really, every week we have a meeting. What are we going to do with the ladies when they come out? Make sure we got extra nail guns, get the saws out. So it's really a fun time. There's no construction, requirements. You are
I was going to ask you that, because I think a lot of people don't get involved because they've never lifted a hammer, or they don't understand what a saw is, or they're afraid, oh my God, I'm going to make a house that's going to fall down. So they have these fears that there's no reason for people to.
No, unfounded, for sure. Unfounded. No, you come out, they train. We have a great crew. Right now we have several of our project, our site supervisors are from have come to work for us, but at another time worked at other habitats. So they are super volunteer friendly. So it's never been a better time, quite frankly, to volunteer with Habitat. We've got just a really welcoming crew. So, and they really know how to bring the volunteers in and show them what to do and make the day really enjoyable. And we're getting a lot of work done, quite honestly.
Yes, it's an amazing thing. And for people who have never done the sweat equity or like to just cut a check, we need you. Don't get me wrong on that. But it is life-changing, I feel like, when you get out there and have a little bit of sweat equity and you are seeing the fruits of your labor in a physical way that's manifesting right in front of you. Yeah. There's some beautiful things about many beautiful things about what Habitat does. And so this one's sold out, you said, so nobody can participate.
It is.
So for future, are there more going to be coming up this year, or do you have next year? What can people get involved and be sweat equity people?
Yes. Okay. We have other volunteer days open. Most of our Thursdays and Fridays, May forward, are open. We'll have some events at the end of the year. We have December. We have a holiday build month where all month long. We encourage an alternate Christmas party. Come on out. You can still have your Christmas party, but come on out. It's a fundraising month as well. I know.
I love that, though. That's what a great idea.
Yeah, yeah. Come on out, bring your team, make it a donation and, have a bill day. It's get out of the office. It's usually a beautiful time of the year. Bring your ugly sweater or your funky hat and swing a hammer. It's kind of be our elf. So
Love it.
Yeah. So
all right. So Habitat, I've got one last question, but I want people to know how to reach out to you. It's habitatorlandoosceola.org.
Yeah.
So you can go to that website. We will tag Mary Alice. We 100% tagged Habitat in our post, but you can reach out to me. You can DM her directly. We will get you to the right people at the right project that makes sense for you, even though this weekend happens to be sold out for Women Build. There are plenty of opportunities for you to get involved. All right, Mary Alice, you mentioned that it is Women's History Month, and we are celebrating that on the TED Show all month. So I'm asking all my guests, when I say the word hero, what woman comes to mind for you?
So, I would say that when a woman, I've always been a fan of Mother Teresa. I would say she was the original volunteer, roll up your sleeves and get, put in some sweat equity.
Yes.
So I would say right off the top of my head, that's always been a favorite.
That's perfect. I like top of the head because that's then that's the first person who came to mind.
Yeah. It's
funny the answers I've gotten. Of course, a lot of moms and grandmoms. I've had some people that were like, I'm not even sure how many women I could name because there's been so many.
Yes, right. Once you start thinking about it, you can
once you go down that rabbit hole, you can keep on going. But Mother Teresa, I love that answer. All right, Mary Alice Fish, Habitat Orlando and Osceola. You can go to their website, habitatorlandoosceola.org. Come back anytime. You're amazing. Again, shout out to Wendy for bringing us together.
Absolutely.
She's awesome. Get out and support. You guys are asking me all the time how to get involved. What's something I can do, Ted? I don't have a lot of money, but I have time. And this is a great opportunity for you to utilize some of that time to give back. Thank you, Mary Alice, so much for all you guys do.
Everybody.
Such a blessing. All right, we'll see you soon. Go to habitatorlandoosceola.org.